Call of Duty intentionally made gun XP slower to sell you Mountain Dew and pizza. Hello, my name is Obakito, and I make all sorts of gaming content and videos. This is going to be about some pretty hot topics, so make sure you're really vocal down in the comments, okay? And hey, while you're down there, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more videos like this. In the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, there are many things that I find to be extremely unfair. But more importantly, there's one thing that hurts almost every player for literally no reason. And that's a change that Call of Duty made regarding crossplay. In the previous Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 1, there was an option to turn off crossplay, and in doing so, you would turn off the already implemented input-based matchmaking. Input-based matchmaking ensures that when you load into a game, you're always going to be paired with controller players if you're on controller, and keyboard and mouse if you're playing with keyboard and mouse. However, in the new Call of Duty, input-based matchmaking is not only nowhere to be seen, but you can't even turn off crossplay in the first place. And it's not that they didn't think about this choice. In the beta, you had the option to turn off crossplay. Sure, you could still play with keyboard and mouse player versus controller if a person on PC was using controller, but that means they intentionally left crossplay out of the game for no reason. Implementing input-based matchmaking would greatly help the game for literally everybody, not just keyboard and mouse. As an example, let's use the greatest debate that every gamer has. A controller player might say, it's just way too easy for a PC player to just flick and headshot you immediately, which in this Call of Duty, is blatantly false. The solution to that problem? Let controller players choose whether or not they play with PC players. The opposite side of the argument would be a PC player saying, controller players don't even have to aim, they can just keep tapping left trigger and always perfectly track me. What's a good way to stop this problem? Ah, yes. Allow players to choose who they're playing against. PC to PC, controller to controller. You might be thinking, well, they did that because their numbers aren't good. However, that's not the case, because concurrent players range from 150 to 300,000 depending on the time of day. Even right now at 3 p.m. on a Friday, when people are still going and are at work, the current players are at 184,000, 183,000, 184,000. In fact, Activision recently posted this, saying they reached 5 million players in only 5 days. If you weren't aware, that's an insane number. Activision also posted this, which speaks for itself. There's more than enough players, there's ample reason to fix this problem, yet they've done nothing, and for no reason. At least no reason that an average viewer or average consumer could possibly understand. Now, on to the things that I feel are unfair, not just the game-breaking, disgusting choice that Activision's made. I'm an avid keyboard and mouse player with an average 1.2 KD this Call of Duty alone. I decided to test exactly how easy it is to play on controller. I played 10 matches on a controller after not using controller for a very long time. I'm, as I said, a very avid keyboard and mouse player. I only went negative once. In 10 games, I played better than a 1.0 KD ratio. Do you understand what I'm saying? I beat statistically average players on an input I never use. My MMR in the game, which skill-based is implemented, is around 1.2 KD, meaning my matches should be sweaty, and I plugged in a controller and was able to beat the average player in that lobby? That's a little bit absurd, and I'll be honest, I didn't have to aim. I did have to aim. I had to be ready around corners. I had game sense. I knew what to do, right? I knew how to play the game still, but on an input I sucked at, and I was able to excel. The problem, I should not be able to excel with a controller when I don't use a controller. I should have been negative every game. Don't get me wrong, I don't think a change should be made to the way controllers play in the new Call of Duty. However, I don't want to see them in my mouse and keyboard lobbies, and I don't think any other mouse and keyboard player does either. There's a reason the meme's been going around that controller players are worse than aim hackers. As a side note, it's worth mentioning that many pro players have come out saying that controller is just blatantly a better choice. There are mouse and keyboard pros switching to controller because of how much easier it is. That shouldn't be a thing. There should be no reason to switch platforms because it's easier on a controller. That just blatantly shows there's an advantage. If the pros are switching, something's wrong. The next thing that's extremely unfair, or for a better term, blatant garbage in this game, is their new recoil system. It's almost as if they wanted to create a battle sim, but it's also Call of Duty, a historically very arcadey shooter. If you aren't using a sight on your weapon, the recoil is almost blinding for any weapon that has moderate to decent recoil. Barrel smoke and muzzle flash make it almost impossible to see when aiming down sights without a sight. Not to mention, for some reason in this Call of Duty, the gun kicks but your camera doesn't, so you're not statically following the gun. So the front of the gun will actually kick up, covering your target in the distance, making it impossible to track them. However, controller players don't have to worry about that. The guns will actually track your opponent even if you can't see them. But I feel like I could deal with the recoil if it wasn't for this next issue. The guns will sometimes miss? No. I'm not saying you will miss. You'll be perfectly on the target, not moving, and the bullet will just miss. For some reason, it seems that Call of Duty has added a random bullet deviation amidst the other perfect accuracy fires. I don't know why Call of Duty added this, but this clip from Buster Hine on TikTok basically explains it perfectly.
Is anybody else missing shots but feel like they should be hitting? Ah! Oh!
It doesn't make sense.
What the fuck?
Like, what is this? Why would they randomly add that? I'm not sure if that's for every weapon, but the fact that it's for any weapon is insane. I noticed when I was running around using the revolver, randomly I would miss my shot, and I was pretty confident I hit them. I'm a pretty good shot, don't mean to brag, but I'd randomly miss my shot on a perfect body shot? It was astounding, and the reason why is because the guns will sometimes randomly miss. My final talking point is one that's maybe not as big of a deal, but I guarantee is annoying so many people. And it's that Call of Duty intentionally made gun XP slower to sell you Mountain Dew and pizza. I'm sure you've noticed that gun XP is really slow in this Call of Duty. I would describe the XP rate as painfully slow. And just about 1 to 2 weeks after the game's full release, Call of Duty announced a new campaign with Mountain Dew and Little Caesars, where if you purchase a Mountain Dew, on the cap you get a code that gives you double weapon XP for a couple of minutes. Every Mountain Dew you buy increases the speed that you get your weapons leveled up by double, which in my opinion is just about the normal rate a weapon should level up. I can't tell you how many games I played with my revolver only leveling it up maybe half a level, one level, getting 30, 25 kills a match. That's a little bit insane. Not to mention you need to get this gun leveled all the way up to level 30. It's bonkers. It's absurd. So many guns in this game. They're planning to add more. They've already in season 1 added 4 new weapons. It's just insane that they take so long to level up each gun. Now I want to mention I don't have any concrete evidence that Activision did this intentionally to sell more Mountain Dew, but I'm pretty confident I hit the nail right on the head. Activision, if you have somebody on your team watching this video, please know I speak on behalf of many gamers out there. Please make some positive changes to your game and stop trying to siphon all of our money. Down in the comments, tell me what you hate about this game. Tell me if there's something I didn't cover that you want to see change. But in my opinion, that's everything wrong with this new Call of Duty. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, go down to the like button, press it lightly, gently. It's sensitive. Let me and YouTube know that I made good content, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye!